Siobhan O'Sullivan here with Real Time Real Estate, and it's Monday, so it's time to give you some Monday market updates. We had our office meeting as we do every Monday, and I think there were 87 agents who were in attendance. That's a pretty great turnout, and all of our agents in our office are incredibly high producing, so we got a really good pool of brain power all working together. So I just wanted to let you know that last week's was really long. This is going to be longer. I've got a lot to cover, so I better get started. Our office had 35 sales last week, and out of that were 13 new listings, and there were quite a few multiple offer situations. We're down in volume still as of this time last year, but it's ticking up from last week and the previous weeks. One of the things our office manager talked about was that he had had a lot of calls over the weekend announcing that a lot of his agents were entering into listing agreements. So there is more inventory that's coming up onto the market, and he said that June is going to be now our new spring market. Typically our spring market starts with a force in February, mid-February. Definitely it's clipping off to a fast pace by March. But of course, with this whole coronavirus, we're looking for June now as our new spring. We have just been told as a community that we can open up our marketing efforts. We're still needing to show properties with really strong restrictions in terms of still needing to get consensual forms for accessing properties, and limited to the amount of people we can show properties to at any given time, only 2 who live in the same household. But we are able now to show properties that are owner occupied or tenant occupied. They cannot be in the home at the time of the viewing, but the good news is we're not totally restricted. And this is only when there is no feasibility to do virtual tours or show the property virtually. So that is a big restriction lifted, and that's going to help us with our marketing efforts for our sellers and our buyers. I should just give you a brief rundown about what the guidelines are for this week. They change weekly, but we still are not able to have open houses for the general public, which means that the buyers who are going into these homes to view them are working with agents. They're well qualified, they're ready to go, so there are fewer showings, but the quality of buyers are a lot more serious and motivated. Now we are able to do a little bit of housing prep. We can do some staging, we can have some painting done, inspections are allowed. Obviously all of the guidelines for social distancing and mask wearing and glove wearing, they all stay in place, and there's forms to be filled, like I mentioned before. But that is good news for sellers, and you can call me if you have any questions about what the guidelines are this week. But be warned, because they might be different again next week. The whole thing is shifting and moving almost as quickly as we can convey the information to you. We saw another really high price sale, a home in Crescent Park, which was listed around the low 7 million mark, and it went into contract. Just one offer. It just takes one, and it is a tech executive. So that was an exciting sale this week. So we still see some movement on the high end. We also saw a single family residence on Stanford campus go into contract in the last week. And that's great news, because while Stanford property, typically they take a little bit longer to get into contract because their buyer pool is restricted to Stanford qualified buyers. It's great to see the homes getting into contract. And of course we have one of the great Stanford specialized agents, Shari Ornstein. She was co-listing that with a colleague in my office, and she's pretty fantastic. She's very knowledgeable about the Stanford market. So if you have any questions about Stanford, give me a call. Shari and I can meet up with you, because she's been living on campus and has been working the campus housing market for many decades now. We've got a fantastic legal update coming up on Friday, which I'm excited to be attending. It is virtual, so I will be attending that virtually and giving you a bit of a roundup. It's those regular updates that we as agents attend that help keep our clients out of any legal trouble, just by knowing the newest laws and counseling our buyers and sellers accordingly. And give me a call or reach out by text, and I'll be happy to make sure that I can answer any questions that you may have. So Siobhan O'Sullivan, Real Time Real Estate. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and chatting with you again tomorrow.